What you're looking at is essentially the effectiveness of the A1 EdgeFinder, which is our proprietary market software that we've been building for the last several months. This tool, basically we just added this new feature. And in this video, I'm gonna go over some of the coolest new features that we've added to the tool in the last few weeks. Before I get too far in this video, there's a link to our Telegram chat to one of my team members here at A1 Trading. If you would like to try this tool out 100% free, click that link and send us the word free access or EdgeFinder, and we'll send you a copy of the tool so that you can try it out for yourself and see if it would be a tool that would be helpful to you in your trading. We'd love to hear your feedback. Make sure to comment or respond back to a team member that you chat with using the Telegram chat link down below. Now, the first one I want to talk about is, of course, the historical backtest section. You can see here we've actually changed the layout here so that you can find things a little bit easier. If you want to sort by indices or commodities, currency pairs, etc., you can do that for any of the individual scans. Now, what you're seeing here on the main portion of the screen is, of course, the historical backtest section. And I wanted to show you guys this because we added this so that you could check the effectiveness or the ability to somewhat forecast using the A1 EdgeFinder. And check this out. This screen right here is really kind of what I wanted to focus on within this. You can kind of see that the bars here, the long bars going up and down, the vertical bars, those are the score rating at the given time. Now, if we were to basically hover over, you can see that this is a reading from like May 6th, right? We had May 5th here, etc. What we can see is that during this period of time, there was a -3 rating on the NZD-CHF, which is the current currency pair we're looking at currently. What that's telling us is that during this period of time, the EdgeFinder was calling for more downside. And then it peaked again at the -4 here, just before a nice little sell-off on NZD-CHF. We can do the same process if we go take a look at another very popular one, which is, of course, gold. If I can find it, here it is. We can take a look at gold to see what the gold historical performance has been. And you can kind of see that during the early portions of May, late April, we were getting some readings at the -4 category, which is a sell reading, right around this area prior to a nice little sell-off. And we continue to see sell readings here, here, and here. And then once the market started to no longer be so bearish, we've been popping back up. So the strongest sell readings were here and around this area here. So you can kind of see historically how the scoring is working for each one of the EdgeFinder scans. By the way, if you already have a copy, feel free to use this and you can go check it out for yourself using the historical backtest section. We've also added a lot of new features recently. You can also sort by category in a lot of different ways. So for example, if you don't really care for all of the different charts on your screen, you can actually sort by, for example, major currency pairs. And in this case, now we only see scans for things like euro dollar, dollar yen, NZD USD, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD. These are your majors, right? So if you want to look at just major currency pairs, or if you want to add something else, for example, you only want to add major and minor currency pairs. Now we've got all of the major and minor currency pairs on the scatter plot. Just a reminder, if the bottom axis is our score, meaning if it's a higher rated buy, it's on the right. If it's a higher rated sell, it's on the left. For example, Euro CAD, we would call a strong sell right now. Now, on top of that, the y-axis on this scatter plot is going to tell you the market change. So, for example, if on the day performance is a one-day distribution, if we have EuroCAD up for the day, so you can see EuroCAD is up around a 1%, it's going to pop up. The reason that this is interesting is I use these two quadrants to find my ideal setups most of the time. I'm looking at this area and this area. Why those two specifically? Well, I'm a pullback trader, so I'm looking for something that is overall a sell rating. So things like Euro CAD, Pound CAD, Dollar CAD are considered sells. And they also are up on the day, so potentially pulling back. So I could potentially look for some shorts, right? And then on the buy category down here, we can kind of see what's going on here. You've got Swiss yen, CAD Swiss, Euro yen, CAD yen. These are considered higher buy ratings, although they're not very high. It's only a 2, which is not really super strong, but they're moving down. So you can kind of see, like, for example, if there was something that was here or here, that would be considered more of a potentially attractive buying opportunity to go consider. So that's kind of how that's working. The score chart summary is much the same, but we have added plenty of different charts. You can see all the different ones here. For example, if there's anything that you look at yourself, feel free to pause the video and take a look at the currency pair or asset that you are looking at to see how it's reading. We've got several categories and metrics that the software has been programmed to look for. So for example, the commitment of traders report will tell you what the banks are doing. The retail sentiment will tell you what the crowd is doing. Seasonality tells you month to month, historically speaking, what a asset does. So for example, if we were to go take a look at gold, we could pull this up and we could see, like, historically speaking, does gold tend to rise or fall during specific months? And here it is. Give it just a second to load in. And you can see exactly what we're looking at. So right now, the gold market is considered a sell. It has been a sell reading for several weeks, as we looked at on the historical backtest section. But check this out. This little chart right here is going to tell you historically what gold does. So when things are, when it's below the 0 point, that means that historically it's a negative month. If it's above, it means historically it's a positive month. So a clean example would be August, where we see gold tends to have a very strong rally. Okay, and then a sort of negative bias towards the end of the year. So just interesting stats, and that contributes to the overall score rating that the gold market and every other market that we're looking at here gets. So seasonality is a big component to this. We also have the trend reading, which is just a simple moving average calculation. GDP growth, we have a lot of metrics down here at the bottom of the screen that you can look at. This gets especially interesting when we take a look at currency pairs. So for example, if we were looking at euro dollar, for example, this is actually comparing metrics and economic data of the two markets in question. So when we look at, for example, the euro and we look at the dollar and we compare things like GDP, inflation, unemployment change, and interest rates, we can look at all those facts and we can get a slight bias as to whether or not we think something is bullish or bearish, et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of the point when we're looking at currency pairs. They have their own calculation. And we have, again, we have more charts coming, but overall we have commodities, we have major and minor pairs, indices, all sorts of cool stuff. And then that historical backtest, again, gives you a chance to go see how the rating of the EdgeFinder actually stood up against historical readings, or sorry, historical price action. Now, one thing that's really cool to me is starting out my day with the score chart, because at any given time, I can go take a look at specific currency pairs that look most interesting to me. So for example, right now, if I was to go look for trades, my starting bias is pretty much to ignore everything in the middle where it's neutral and start once we get into sell categories and strong buy categories. So right now we can see, for example, if we were to look at NZD CHF, it has a sell rating. If you look at things like pound CAD, Euro CAD being the strongest on the list for potential sells today, that gives us an idea as to where we could then go look for charts. Now, the EdgeFinder does not do every single component for you. It's not going to place trades for you and give you the perfect entry and make you a millionaire. It's not like that. But it gives me the chance to scan it. Also, by the way, you can do the category here that we added this. So if you just want to look at major and minor currency pairs or commodities, etc., you have that option now so that you don't have so much clutter if you would prefer not to see everything. I like to leave everything on there just so I can get a good reading, but it's up to you how you use it. Once I have an idea, then I can actually go take a trade. I can go place a position based on my own analysis. Pound CAD was a short trade that I took and covered here as price started to reverse. But again, Pound CAD was a sell reading, and we were able to catch a little bit of the downside there off of that move, which Pound CAD, you can see, fell as a negative in -5 in multiple categories here, as you can get a breakdown on the score sheet each day, as the analysis here that's shared is basically updated each hour. So again, check out the score sheet. And if you would like a copy of the A1 EdgeFinder, there's a link down below in the description. You can use that link and use the promo code there for a discount on access to the A1 EdgeFinder. Please let us know your feedback. We would love to hear from you. We're working really hard on this tool, and we're trying to make it the best tool out there for traders looking to help look at many different metrics at a single time using automated software. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time.